Siege of the Old Iron, Mud and Blood. I drop down behind the trench's parapet as arrows whistle above, a deadly symphony piercing the air, a relentless storm. The acrid scent of burning pitch and sweat fills my nostrils, mingling with the damp, earthy aroma of the sodden trenches. Mud squelches beneath my boots with each step, clinging to me like a second skin, weighing me down with its oppressive embrace. The hells-be-damned archers have their eyes on me now, their keen gaze like daggers boring into my flesh. The air is thick and suffocating, as if the very atmosphere itself is bracing along with my anxiety over the onslaught. My magics are strained to their limits. A pounding headache claws at the edges of my consciousness, a relentless reminder of my dwindling strength. Thirst gnaws at my throat like a ravenous beast, parching my tongue and leaving me yearning for even a drop of ale to quench the infernal fire burning within. I have one, maybe two more spells left in me before I have to slink back and rest for a bit, to lick my wounds and steel myself for the next wave of forward progress. The siege of Ironwood Keep has been going on for weeks now, an unending nightmare of blood and mud, and we're being pushed forward by our commanders, risk be damned. The engineers have been steadily building our trenches closer to the Old Iron, as we've begun to call it, a looming shadow on the horizon, a silent sentinel of death and despair. I sit in the mud and light up my pipe, the comforting warmth of the tobacco smoke a brief respite from the chaos around me. As I watch arrows plunge into the far side of the trench, each impact sending tremors coursing through my veins, I can't help but curse under my breath. How in the seven hells do they have so many arrows? It's as if they pluck them from the very trees themselves, an endless barrage that threatens to consume us all. I take a long drag from my pipe, the sweet smoke providing a brief respite from the chaos around me. Manipulating the smoke with a cantrip, I form it into a rude gesture above the trench, a small act of defiance, but it gets a laugh from those around me. The siege of the Old Iron has taken its toll on all of us. Weeks of relentless fighting, inching our way closer to the imposing walls of the fortress. But for what? To claim a prize that seems more like a curse with each passing day. I glance around at my fellow soldiers, their faces etched with exhaustion and fear. We're all just pieces in a game played by kings and lords, sacrificing lives for their ambitions or greed, usually greed. But despite the despair weighing heavy on my shoulders, a flicker of determination still burns within me. I may be weary, my magic strained to its limits, but I refuse to give up quite yet. For the sake of my comrades, or the memory of those who have fallen, I don't know, whatever I have to tell myself. With a weary sigh, I stub out my pipe and steel myself for the next push. One more spell, one more push towards oblivion. The siege has taken its toll, but I'll be damned if I let it kill me. The thudding of arrows falls silent for the time, archers shifting to another part of the lines, and I have my chance. I crouch run to another section, mud sucking at my boots, at my strength and my soul with every stride. I raise up my periscope, the cold metal pressing against my cheek as I strain to get a better view of the enemy's defenses. The no man's land stretches out before me, a desolate landscape of mud and decay, the stench of rotting flesh mingling with the acrid smoke of battle. As I peer through the narrow lens, searching for any sign of weakness in the fortress walls, I notice an archer field captain carelessly move forward, observing the desolation below. My heart leaps into my throat, blood courses through my head. I hear nothing beyond the pulse in my ears. I ready a curse. No direct spell is making it through those defenses. I throw myself up, loosing the spell, and let myself fall back into the foul mud. I put everything I had left in me into that curse. My strength is entirely gone. With the help of those around me, I drag myself out of the putrid mud enough to use my periscope again. Moments pass. Nothing, I resign myself to the futility of my efforts. Then, a sudden movement catches my eye. The archer field captain I had cursed moments before begins to convulse, his body racked with spasms of agony. I watch in morbid fascination as his flesh begins to slough off in gory chunks, revealing the bleached bones beneath, The horror of the scene unfolds before me, a grotesque spectacle that sends shivers down my spine. Those around him recoil in horror, their faces twisted in a mixture of disgust and fear. Yet, amidst the chaos and despair, a perverse sense of amusement bubbles up within me. Sure is nice of them to always bring a skeleton along. I wheeze out. I chuckle to myself, the sound echoing hollowly in the stillness of the trench. It's a macabre joke, the kind that only a soldier on the brink of madness could find amusing. But in this hellish landscape where death lurks around every corner, laughter is a rare and precious commodity. With a weary sigh, I lower the periscope and make my way through the putrid mud, my boots sinking with each step. I reach a pallet some 2 trench lengths over, the promise of rest beckoning like a siren's call. But even as I close my eyes and succumb to the embrace of sleep, I know that more mud, more arrows, and more death await me when I wake. Such is the grim reality at the Old Iron,